This is part 2 of the Bandai Millennium Falcon 144 build. Alright, I cleaned all my parts, I primed them, I pre-shaded them, and then I put the base color on. So these are all the insets for the hull, which got the base color of the US Air Force light gray. And then these pieces, the gun turrets and the escape pods, got the base color that I mixed myself, the light gray, almost a white gray. And these are escape pods. I went online to find out what these things are, and that's what they are. They're escape pods. These are the inserts for the hull. And what I started with was Vallejo wash, black wash. It's 1 part to 10 parts water. And now I'm going to move on to the rust Vallejo wash. I did little touches of the rust in here, and I mixed about 1 part wash to about 5 parts water. And I just put it in selected areas going by what reference I could find. And now I'm going to move on to the pastels. The pastels I usually use for weathering is I've got a black here, I've got a gray, I've got a brown, I have kind of a reddish brown like a rust, and then I have a lighter brown. And those are about the only 5 that I use for weathering. As you can see on these pieces, after the washes, then I go in with the pastels, and I'll use a little brush like this and just rake it across the pastel and just dab it where I need it, choosing whatever color I need going by the reference. I also have a flat brush here that's very stiff and it's worn, and then I have this brush that I use to kind of mix and blend once I put pastels on there. And then when I get done, if it's not dark enough, I'll come back in with that same 1 to 10 black wash and darken areas up, so that when the pieces are put together, they look like I need them to. So I'm going to work on finishing the rest of the inserts, and then I'll come back and show you what they look like. I've got the inserts for the hull done, so now I'm going to move on to the other pieces. I've got the top gun turret thing masked off for the colors, and before I can mask off the bottom one, I need to go ahead and address my mounting for the rod. Now there's already a peg here, you can see, and this is for the kit supplied mount that goes in. This piece is an extra piece in case you want to make it in a landing position. So what I did is I took my, I have a 1/8 rod here, so I took my 1/8 drill bit and I drilled through before this piece was on, and then I drilled out the hole in this piece, and then I glued it together. And then I made a smaller hole here for my wires to go through. But when my rod gets set in, it won't push all the way through. And once it's in all the way, it'll be a really strong mount. And this being brass, it's stronger than aluminum, so it's going to hold the weight. And it's a real tight fit, which is what I want. So now I can mask off this piece for the colors here on the bottom. Okay, I've got everything masked off. I've got a red area that goes here, red here, and then these are gray. So what I'll do is I'll spray the red, and then I'll just take a Post-it and I'll mask it off there so I can spray my red, and then when I'm done, just flip it over and spray my gray. So I'm going to go ahead and spray these, and then I'll come back and peel tape off. Okay, I've got everything sprayed, so now I'm going to peel off the masking. So there. Now we have our colors on our panels all done. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel off the other one. I peeled all the masking off, and before I can do some weathering, I sealed it with some Krylon matte finish, just a light dusting, so it'll just kind of help preserve the paint. Working on the weathering of the gun turrets, I started with a Vallejo wash, the black wash, 1 drop wash to 10 drops water, and used a very thin brush. And all I did was just really go in the grid lines. And it's so light of a wash that you can see that it barely separates it from the top, but just enough so you get that depth, that dimension. As you can see, this one's completed with the weathering, and this one is not. I still have to do the window inserts, but I'm not sure whether I want to leave the clear plastic of the windows in there or grind them out to just the framework and paint it. And I'll decide that later. So now I'm going to work on the escape pods, and then I'll show you one that's weathered and one that's not. We're working on the escape pods. If you look at some of the references, you'll see there's some differences in this kit than there are from the original Falcon. I can only assume that it's because it's been 30 years and there's been some modifications done. On the original, there were some red blocks of color, which there isn't a flat spot to do it. So what I did is I just put some red on these pipes that are on the side here to kind of simulate those 4 red spots. As you can see, this one's still not done, and this one is the one that's done. I painted the gun turret window inserts black because I was going to go ahead and drill everything out around the frame so that it was open like the canopy is going to be. But then I remembered the 2 TIE fighters that the lighting messed up on, so I took one of those windows and it fits. So I'm going to use that. I have 2 of them. But what I need to do is I need to sand down this edge almost flat, this whole down here to this lip. Just sand all that off, and then this will fit in there and be open, and then I'll be able to put the gun turret bay inside after I do a little dry brushing on it and stuff, just to give it some dimension. So that's why you never throw any of your old kits away, because you never know what part you might need. Alright, I sanded it down. Fits in there perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted. So when I put the gun bay turret in there, or the bay for the gun turret, and the guns on top. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to finish these two up, and I'll come back and show you all the pieces. Yeah, I finished weathering and I sealed all the pieces, the gun turret bays, the escape pods, and of course the inserts. So that's going to do it for part 2. Part 3, I'm going to be working on the main hull. So thank you guys for subscribing, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you for part 3.